Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Well, you guys, there's just been more fallout from the Larsa Pippen, Kim Kardashian best friend breakup. And I really think what triggered Larsa to finally speak out and really spill the juicy scoop was she did not get invited to that $1 million flight to that private island. And it was just too much. That was the final straw. It was like, really, really, I'm not invited to this 40th birthday bash of yours. Wow. Wow. Wow, Kim, wow. But you know what? Here's the thing. We're also intrigued by it because people do get intrigued, just like their own friendships. And, she used to be really close, Kim Kardashian, with Brittany Gastineau. You might go, why does that name sound familiar? Well, she's a very nice girl. I've met her many times. And she and her mother had their own reality show. I think it only lasted one season on E! I believe it even aired before the Kardashians. And it was kind of like a take off of the Gilmore Girls, where the Gilmore Girls, the sitcom, was like a young mom and her daughter, and they were kind of like best friends. So this was Lisa and Brittany Gastineau. Her husband and their father was like this big football player, and they come out to LA, and it was kind of a fun reality show. Anyway, it didn't come back, but they really are like best friends, and I've met them a few times, and they would be at the Kardashian parties like early on into the Kardashian series, and Kim and she were really good friends. Anyway, guess what? They don't follow each other either, but she does follow Kourtney, and Kourtney did send her a Poosh birthday cake. I didn't know Poosh made bakery goods, but Kelly said it was a cake. What did it say? Just happy birthday from Poosh? Oh, Poosh partners with a bakery. So she did get a birthday cake. Definitely she was not invited to the 40th birthday bash. But you know what? It's okay. Like, Kim has a right to be close to some friends, and then as the years go by, not be as close. But, her life is under a microscope that she shares all the time. She's the queen of Instagram. So yeah, when we see that all of a sudden someone's missing, like Joyce, the makeup artist, who now is doing Erica Jane's makeup, well, then what happened to Joyce? But Joyce has like all these other businesses herself. So, but again, I don't think they follow each other anymore. And they used to be really close. And I think there's a bigger story there. And maybe we'll hear about it soon. Joyce is really sweet, but, or maybe, maybe there wasn't one particular reason. Maybe it was just a fading out. We don't work together anymore, whatever. And then I'm like, why wouldn't you just continue to follow these people just so people like me don't talk about it? But then it's like, you know what? If I'm not really that into you, maybe I don't want to see your slow-mo selfies and your, filter where you look like a reindeer or whatever. Maybe I don't want to see that. So I get it. But, I loved the response from the show. So excited for what we have coming up. Oh, one more thing I wanted to put in your head. When I was talking about Gleb, the Dancing with the Stars guy, a lot of people think that his wife was referring to him having affairs would include Chrishell, who is his current dance partner. And now other people are saying no. Think it might have been pretty mess, Erica Jane. Because one of the things the ex-wife-to-be said in her post, I can't compete with, these women giving you expensive gifts. And there is some rumors that there was talk or he did receive some big present from Erica Jane. Now, it could have been friendly. It could have been, hey, baby, I heard you need a vehicle. Would you like to take this rose off my hands? I don't know. Kelly just said that Chrishell bought Gleb shoes that are over $1,000. I heard that Erica Jane bought him a car. Now, hey, if you're with women that are really that wealthy, maybe they do want to give the guy that they worked with a car or a pair of shoes. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I've never given anybody I've dated a gift before. I mean, I married Peter, and that was kind of it. I don't know. Again, when I do Dancing with the Stars, I'll let you guys know. Am I expected to give these people gifts? I mean, isn't just rubbing up against me with your perfect body and your hard penis and your tight cigarette pants enough. I now am expected to buy you cars and some expensive loafers to twiddle your toes in. I don't know. It's a lot. Guys, I'm really excited. I have such a good show. We have the second half of the Juicy Scoop history. So many fun topics with Brandy and Julie. We get into things that are Juicy Scoop, things I never even knew that had happened in the past. We get into the Royals, Octomom, Heather Mills. You may go, who's that? Why does that sound familiar? You're going to hear about it. Juice about Matthew McConaughey's childhood. I didn't even know. Oh, Celebrity Diving. Remember that show? What a splash that made. All right, here we go, guys. Get ready. Hello and welcome to a special episode with Brandy and Julie, Juicy Scoop history topics. We have got some good ones. Girls, how are you both doing?
Well, since the last time we saw you, I mean, it's been pretty good. I went to the bathroom, and I forgot to wear my mask to the bathroom, and the lady with the dog, I think, was horrified because she was like, why is that guy going in the women's room?
Oh, was it about the mask?
Why doesn't this man in the women's room
Why
have
is he
his
going in
mask
there?
on? Where's his mask? My dog's fine in the bathroom, but I don't want this man who's maskless in here.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I'm sorry for that. Sometimes I forget.
If you guys are confused, you hopefully listen to every episode. And a while ago, I had them on, and we did some current stuff, some Juicy Scoop, but we have so many other Juicy Scoop history topics to cover that they decided to stay. So I wanted to give you this treat. Okay, this is a real runaway bride story. We all remember the classic Julia Roberts movie. Kept running away from being a bride.
Right.
This is a real runaway bride.
And did that in real life, too.
Oh, that's
Who
right.
did? You did?
Julia Roberts. That's what we talked about last time.
Oh, and Julie Roberts did. You're right, with Kiefer Sutherland's son. Or no,
Yeah.
that is his name is Kiefer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Donald Sutherland.
So first of all, this was she ran away from her wedding. Okay. It was a huge wedding. 28 people in the wedding party, 600 guests. Okay.
Oh, my God.
She's now 47. So this happened back in April 26, 2005. And in order to avoid her wedding to John Mason, her fiance, she disappeared from Duluth, Georgia. And it sparked a nationwide search and intense media coverage, including media speculation that Mason had even killed her. And on April 29th, Will Banks called Mason from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and claimed that she'd been kidnapped and sexually assaulted by a Hispanic man and a white woman.
Wow, she went deep.
I mean, she's really, really going in there.
Yeah. So the offer, but during this time, her relatives had offered a $100,000 reward and planned vigils. Later that day, she called Mason from a payphone and told him that she had been kidnapped, but she's been released. She also calls 911, declaring in a frantic voice that she had been kidnapped and sexually assaulted by a Hispanic man and a Caucasian woman in their 40s driving a blue van, which I'm going to just do that right now. Okay, can you do 911 operator?
Yeah. 911, what's your emergency?
I've just been kidnapped, but I've been released.
Okay. Calm down. Breathe. Now, where are you?
I am
Look
at
around.
a gas station.
Okay. Do you
I see gas pumps.
yes? Do you see a sign? Do you see
No.
a name? No name,
No,
just pumps.
all I know is that a Hispanic man.
Oh, okay.
I think
Enough said.
I think his white girlfriend or wife, I don't know what, she was white. I think she called him Juan or Julio.
Okay, Juan. And did you get a last name?
Maybe something that ends in an EZ,
Uh-huh.
like a Gomez
Maybe.
or
Okay.
Hernandez.
Sure.
And,
Absolutely.
They held me down and raped me while she touched me down there.
Oh. She raped you. They raped you and touched you down there?
Yes,
Okay, we
while
got that.
making tortillas.
Did you get the woman's name? Was it Karen?
Yes.
Okay. We're
Good.
gonna
It
get
was
that.
Karen
Okay.
and she was blonde.
All right, we're coming for you. We are coming for
Oh my
you.
God,
Stay
thank you.
put.
Thank
Stay
you.
put. Under the light. Wow.
And it was a blue van.
That's great.
When
Touching
asked
that
if
they
she
cared about her
knew
pleasure.
what direction, what did you say? What?
It's touching that they cared about her pleasure. Since the woman was touching her down there during this, I thought, oh, wow, that's nice.
And making tortillas.
I know.
They fed me and made sure that I had a full orgasm. Please pick me up. Please pick me up. I think it's 76. It might be a mobile. It wasn't a van. It was a Hyundai.
Okay. So then she says, when they asked what direction her captors went after setting her free, she said, I have no idea. I don't even know where I am. The calls were traced back to a payphone at a 7-Eleven convenience store in Albuquerque, where she was picked up by local police. Her family publicly thanked the media for getting through to the kidnappers. Later, during the FBI interrogation, she admitted that she had not been abducted, but needed time and space to escape the pressures of her upcoming wedding. Just too much. She just was like, I can't make another decision about little gifts or those little gross white Italian candies that people have. Remember those wedding gifts that people used to have? A little satchel. I never liked.
28. I don't even have 28 friends. There's 28 people in the bridal party.
Anyway, she agreed to pay the city of Duluth more than $13,000 in costs, and then she was eventually sentenced to only 2 years of probation, but 120 hours of community service along with mental health counseling. A judge also ordered her to pay the sheriff's office only $2,500 to cover some of the costs.
They're going to cover their
so she paid the $13,250, and then she filed a lawsuit against her fiance for $500,000, claiming it is her share of the home that the ex-fiance purchased with the proceeds to a book deal that he negotiated for them when she was medicated. So while she was getting her mental health, he was like, who wants this juicy scoop story? Negotiated the money, got a payment, bought a house. Anyway, she's now, it's hard to find her, but she's just like living with some guy. I don't think she ever had a kid, and she just lives a private life.
I thought you said they stayed together.
There was an interview I saw where she, at least immediately after it, she was staying
Well, they
with
were
that
staying
guy.
together because he was working the deal, but no, they're not. I know they're not together
I mean,
now.
2 words: white privilege. Okay, how do you just get probation?
This is?
How do you just get probation for that? That's insane.
Wow.
I think I need to tell you how stressful it is to plan a wedding with 600 people and 28 groomsmen. That means she had 14 bridesmaids.
Where's this money coming
All
from?
those bitches, not everyone liked their dress.
No.
They all didn't realize that it was about her. I mean, this is Bridezilla times 10 billion. And she's not that cute.
I honestly would be more
But her ring
stressed
does
out.
look really big. So it looked like she had a big ring.
Yeah, and that's like a juicy. It's kind of like the end of the juicy
Of
Yes.
this
tracksuit.
outfit.
Yeah.
This lady, however, decided I'm wearing a powder blue, all the same color, 3-piece terry cloth or whatever that
Like, is
is.
that the
Yes.
lawyer or her mother?
I don't know.
I feel like that's the lawyer with the...
I would be more stressed out, and I swear, trying to do the acting. I heard the phone call. It was pretty much like what you did. I mean, she did pretty good acting on the phone call. I just
Okay.
would be like, I can't go through with, I will have to kill myself now because I can't go through with getting in the cop car and now having to do this acting job for the next
One
12
of the
hours.
stories that I was obsessed with, and we still don't know what happened a couple years ago, right before Thanksgiving. A girl who was kidnapped in Middle California, like somewhere like, not Modesto, but somewhere like in that kind of farming area. She was a cute blonde, and she went for a run, and all they did was find her phone and her headphones, and she was missing for like 2-3 weeks. And then the day before Thanksgiving, she called. She'd been branded, and her beautiful blonde hair had been like chopped. And she said 2 Mexican
I remember this.
lesbians, no offense.
Julie is ethnically ambiguous if we're getting into it. We don't know. That could have been her that kept her in the box.
Kidnapped her and tortured her, but then that day they just dropped her off, and people were very suspicious and thinking, they found some old tweets, some old things where she was a little racist towards Latinos.
Mexican lesbians?
Yeah.
All right, you got to bring the Mexican
But
lesbians
then-
into it, branding you?
But then other people were like, you know what? Even though she's a young mother with her long blonde hair and no makeup, she looks like she's young. Was she kidnapped? Was she going to be sex trafficked? And then I thought, well, if you want to sex traffic her, you don't brand her and cut off her beautiful blonde hair. Those are her selling,
Yeah.
traits. And could she have possibly done this herself for attention? They did a whole story. The cute husband was like horrified that anyone wouldn't believe his wife. They're like, we're going back to our home. We've never heard. No, I still don't know if anyone knows what happened with this story, if they ever found the perpetrators, if the cops just let the weird story go.
I thought that was this story when I was like thinking because that they were saying it was the common narrative that she kidnapped herself or she faked her kidnapping with that girl that was jogging. Because it was like, why did she leave her phone? It was just a weird, really blaming of the victim, but there was something that they weren't buying.
Well, speaking of things that are out right now, there's a woman that went missing in the Zion National Park. And she was missing for 2 weeks, and everyone was looking for her. Everyone's freaking out. Anyway, they just found her.
Just hiking?
She's fine.
What was she?
That always annoys me when the hikers and whatever go missing. I'm like, go stay missing.
But was she
I get
just
annoyed.
camping or?
We don't know. So I think we're going to find out what the deal is. So she's fine. And so I was talking about, so my husband was talking about this, Peter, and he goes, don't you remember this story? So we looked it up. This story happened a year or two ago. What's the date on this? I see. I'm not. Oh,
July 16th, 2019.
Okay. So this woman was found alive after she was lost. So she and her husband, who are like 60, were camping. And then she said she went off to walk the little dog from the campsite. And as she was peeing, a man came out from the woods with a knife and said, I'm going to use this. If I don't get my way with you, I'm going to kill your little dog.
Wow.
She managed to run away from him, and then she was missing for 2 days until the authorities found her. And she was dehydrated, and she had some scrapes and stuff, but she was okay. Peter and I have always thought this story was really fucking weird. Like, what person is just like hanging out in the middle of not even like a camp, like away from the campsite, going, I hope some good pussy walks by with a little dog that I can threaten. So I really have always thought it was weird. We think what happened is, this is a couple, they've been married a long time. They got in a fight, and she's just like, fuck you, you don't even care about me. And then she went off. And she got lost. And when she was found, she was so embarrassed, but at the same time thought, I'm going to make my husband feel really bad that he let me wander off and didn't come after me. And he's got to know that I am still desirable. I could have been raped and I could have been killed.
Yeah.
And he's never going to let me out of his sight, and he's going to cherish me.
And what happened? Do you remember? Did the dog wander on back to camp, or did she take the dog with?
The dog was never. She and her dog were both found. They're perfectly fine.
Okay, so she had the dog with
she
her.
had the
dog.
dog.
She's like, nope, you won't get Tiny or me.
Yeah,
And then she ran away.
The camper bathroom killer. And he comes out.
No, I don't even think she was in a bathroom. I think she
I
was
mean, yeah, right.
squatting.
She was squatting.
It would be one
Outdoor.
thing if she was at a bathroom. I could see like a weird guy hanging around a bathroom. But no, she was like peeing behind a bush or something.
That's why it makes no. That's why it would
yeah.
make no sense. That
Yeah.
somebody would creep around like doing his knife, getting it sharp,
Yeah.
living in the outside in the woods. Be
Saying
like, one day one of these ladies are gonna go number 1 or 2 in the woods.
Yeah.
And I
And
hope
I'm gonna make her go 2.
He wants a woman of a certain age.
Right.
And I think like it's such a weird story, but also there was, that very public sad story about the serial killer in Yellowstone that like killed the girl and her daughter and the foreign exchange student, and then he was a serial killer who worked at like a lodge in Yellowstone, and so they had never experienced anything like this. So when they went missing, they thought, oh my God, they went on a hike or their car went down a ravine. They never thought it could be a serial killer. So I think that story's been around. So it was like, I think that was just kind of in her head. Now,
She's the only one smiling.
Now, if she's listening to Juicy Scoop, if she's a Juicy Scooper, and she swears to God this happened to her, I'm really sorry. But the story does seem strange.
Cheryl, come on down, do an interview with Heather.
Yeah.
Tell her what happened. We'd love to know. Your family all looks strange. The kids are in the back like, okay, mom's... And then she's got a smile.
Yeah.
She's got a slight grin, and the husband just looks...
We're all kind of fit. We're all kind of fit.
Listen,
They,
Cheryl,
yeah,
feel
they're
pretty
fit.
good.
They like the camping life.
You know what I
and,
She's
yeah.
got a nice body, Cheryl.
No, they're
You
all
know?
like fit. You know what I mean?
I mean,
I can take care of myself. I can go squat, do a little potty pot.
I'm pretty sure that's
take
illegal,
care of
too, by the
myself.
way. You're not really supposed to pee in the woods when you camp. You're supposed to walk on down to whatever roadside rape bathroom there is.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, you're really not supposed
Let's
to.
keep the raping confined to the rape bathrooms.
Yeah.
We don't
that's
need
where that
rapes
happens,
happening
sure.
off behind a bush.
No, everybody knows they're hanging around the actual
Yes.
roadside
Right,
park
the bathroom.
area.
Right.
Okay, so let me go back to my album here. Okay, here we go.
I love that
So-
Peter and you are just like, they got in a fight and she tried to play it off.
Yeah, totally.
Well, how about like the one where the lady was in the thing and hiking and then she didn't bring her shoe? You know?
No, her shoe. I
What
thought she
happened
lost
with
her.
her
What's
She
that?
lost her shoe.
What's with her shoe?
She didn't bring herself.
She was
Remember
so
in Hawaii?
annoying.
It was like Mother's Day. She went to a gas station. She bought her mom a jank-ass teddy bear
Yeah.
from the gas station. And so she's on camera. And it's like a tiny teddy bear. And I'm like, wow, you really wish that wasn't on camera, don't you?
Like that shitty gift.
Yeah, like you pick that up. She goes hiking in this, beautiful Hawaiian hike.
Before the brunch with the mother. That's also not nice on Mother's Day.
And
Go
then
on.
she leaves a cell phone because she's going to go meditate.
Yeah.
The entire reason that cell phones were ever invented is to use them in emergencies,
Yes.
which is why my mom never has hers out of her purse. Like, I'm like, why didn't you call me to come pick you up? She's waiting for me to pick her up in front of like the grocery store. Oh, my phone was in my purse. I'm like, okay, that's what the phone is for. It's,
Keep them on you. Keep it on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
Keep it on your person, people.
And also keep it on.
Yeah.
You can keep it on.
Don't power it on when
yeah,
you're
why
ready
is
to
it
use
off
it once a day.
all the time? It's
Yeah.
off. I was like, I didn't turn my phone on. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
So she leaves her phone in her car,
Yeah.
not J-Lo, but she leaves
Yeah.
her phone in the car, goes hiking to do her meditating, gets lost. And there's a little bit of a thirst bucket element there when you're getting lost. You're continuing to hike up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're still going deeper into the hike as you're hiking
Yes.
up because it's an up hike. So she's lost now and she's alone and she ends up like in a ravine and slips and like her shoes fly off into the waterfall or whatever. And then she's stuck on the side of this thing with no shoes. She's completely scraped up but can't hike out. You don't remember the story?
No.
It was crazy. It was in Hawaii. She had been missing. It was only in the Hawaiian people were just like, okay, it's fine. She's bought the thing for her mom. She probably bought that tiny teddy bear in 7-Eleven and then went in there and killed herself because that's a tragic gift for her mother. And then they didn't want.
Was she found?
Yeah, the friends had to hire because the Hawaiian officials wouldn't deal. They had one helicopter go by and the friends wouldn't. So the friends got all this money because it costs a lot of money to get a helicopter and they wouldn't stop until
Also, I feel like Hawaii, if you're going to be lost like in a Hawaii trail, it sounds pretty safe. Like there's pineapples and it's moist. So you're not in 120-degree
No.
heat. It rains. There's water.
She was near like a freshwater thing. That's where her shoes flew off. It's like, why are your shoes missing? You got lost, but why are your shoes off? No one attacked you. But it was like all these things befell her when she was alone. And then but her friends literally found her because they paid for a helicopter and were like, there she is.
Yeah.
But it was days and days and days on end.
Did you have a pet with her? I'm always like, the dog didn't ask for this shit.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Dog's like, when are we going back to the air-conditioned house?
No,
Like,
she
not-
didn't even have her shoes.
Wow. You guys, this is J-Lo and Puff Daddy. This is when P. Diddy was Puff Daddy. And this was just a golden time. We have the photos here. As you guys know, we do YouTube, film the whole thing. And this was an amazing outfit. She did white lowrider jeans, real low, just above the pelvic bone, a white crop top, and then she did a white beaded bandana to look like a little bit of a cholo and look about her. And
It's Jenny from the block.
it's Jenny from the block. And it was like she was, having some fun. And there was a shooting at a nightclub they were at. A gun went off at the nightclub. J-Lo and Puffy were arrested, but her charges were dropped. Eyewitnesses say they saw Puffy shoot the gun during the altercation, but a little-known rapper named Jamal Barrow was charged with the shooting. And according to police, a Lincoln Navigator carrying Puffy and Lopez, along with Puffy's driver and bodyguard, was stopped about 2:30 a.m. after speeding away from the Times Square night spot in New York City. And then which was the site of the shooting, they ran a red light, and a search for the SUV turned up an unlicensed stolen gun, leading to the second charge of criminal possession of stolen property against Puffy. In addition, the bodyguard, Anthony Jones, and the driver were charged with criminal possession of a weapon and stolen property. And
Did he? I can't remember. Did he go to jail?
Well, meanwhile, no, he didn't. But Barrow, the 19-year-old little rapper who goes by the name of Shine, he was arrested at the club and charged with attempted murder and criminal possession of the 9mm gun. And a woman and 2 men were hospitalized following the attack. And the woman was shot in the face.
Whoa.
And is currently listed in stable condition. Well, this is a long time ago, so I'm sure she's okay now, but maybe disfigured. Both men were hit in the shoulder, and that's when J-Lo was like, maybe it isn't as fun to date you anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I was kind of loving this, like, badass fun, going to the clubs, being with Puffy. You're helping my street cred, but maybe this is more street cred than I need.
I love that the Shine took the fall. That's literally basically the single bullet theory there. It's like, here, you're going to be the one who did the shooting, even though everyone in the whole entire club saw that it was me. And Shine's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll say it was me. I mean, for sure, that had to be P. Diddy. Like,
Everybody's always having trouble with guns. And you have guns in the studio and he's shooting.
Yeah.
Right around this time, because I was looking for a new manager at the time. And I met with this guy who was pretty hot, by the way.
I was going to say 2000 because it says VMA
okay.
.00. I'm like, could that be 2000?
And he represented like a lot of like rappers and things. And he told me, like, to impress me, he was like, when I have meetings with Puff Daddy, we sit down and everyone puts their guns on the table.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God! Do you put all your guns on the table? That's amazing. No one gets shot at the meet. Wow, your dick is huge.
I'm like, but can you just get me a spot at the in the original room?
Yeah, you
at
should
the
have
Comedy
put your
Store.
gat on the table and been like, "Yo, I want Comedy Store or whatever.
Yeah,
whatever I want. Madison
Anyway,
Square
I want
Garden.
out of the belly room. I want in the main room. Fuck you in your belly room.
I don't need to. Yeah, I don't need to hear about your deals with Puff Daddy. I just want to know, can you get me?
Yeah. I mean, I want to say 20 years, and I mean, Kelly, with your fresh eyes, has J-Lo even aged?
I was just thinking that.
20 years ago.
Looks the same.
No,
Ugh.
because her work, and she has had work,
Subtle, very subtle.
is so good.
It's always been flawless.
Flawless. I remember when she got her tiny boob job, people didn't believe me. And I said, no, she had a very tiny boob job,
I've
in
looked
my opinion.
to see if she's gotten a very subtle nose job.
She has had a very subtle nose job, or she's gotten like just a little bit of filler to straighten it out. And I think she's got a little filler here, a little filler here. But also the main thing is she does not drink.
Well,
she has
can't do
one
that.
glass of champagne a year. I don't even think she was drinking at this nightclub. Maybe she was back then and then was like, I'm done. I'm done with all
Really?
this.
She doesn't drink?
She does not drink.
We did the J-Lo diet for 10 days. It was kind of hard.
What was it?
It was really just like, the standard, like...
No sugar.
Screwing A-Rod twice a day. A
Twice
strict
a
diet.
day.
Yeah.
Whoa. Never ending.
It was, she said she eats a little fruit, but it was strictly no sugar, no beans. It was vegetables and lean meat, but it would be not even.
She said no beans because I remember seeing an interview with her when she was dating Ben Affleck, and she said his favorite meal that she makes is chicken, red beans, and rice.
No. This was a diet she only did for 10 days. It was a 10-day
J-Lo
challenge where she was like, the body was ripped, and it was like, okay, let's do the challenge.
Okay,
and it was
so
like,
wait,
great,
no
can't even have
beans,
no fruit.
No sugar at all.
Okay.
And no starchy, peas
So is
are
it just like broccoli and chicken?
Yep.
Right. Or
Yeah.
let's say cucumbers.
Zero
Okay.
dairy, of
Right.
course, and even fake dairy. Like you can't then go have oats milk.
And
be
when
like,
you
"This
guys
counts."
did it, did you immediately feel tighter and thinner?
I thought so.
Ripped.
Yeah.
Ripped.
We were basically like J-Lo and A-Rod if
yeah.
they were ugly.
I have that.
So wait, which one is the J-Lo? Which one's A-Rod?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what we would ask ourselves. Can anyone choose who's who? And people are like, it doesn't even look like you did a diet. And before that, we did the GM diet, which is from
What's
the straight
GM?
up
Now,
70s.
GM, that one.
What
did
is
work.
a GM diet?
It is literally from General Motors. It's from the freaking 70s. It's
Cigarettes and coffee?
It's 7 days.
yeah.
That we would have done.
Oh my God.
hands down.
Diet. Yeah, that's my everyday diet.
The first day is fruit only, whole day. Now
Okay.
this we felt way this. I'm sorry, with all due to J-Lo, this was a million times better.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Fruit the entire day, first day.
All right.
which you think is great. By the end of the day, you're like, no, I never want to see a piece of watermelon
Ever again.
Okay.
Ever again.
Second day, all vegetables,
Okay.
which you think, great, I'm doing it up. No. Third day, fruit and vegetables. You don't want any of it.
Okay.
Fourth day, get ready for this.
What?
Bananas and milk only.
Okay.
So what that means,
Horrible.
What that means, that's called, for Julie, who's doing smoothies and trying to do it. I'm like, I'm just starving today. This is a call to fasting day because I'm not going to eat bananas and milk all day.
Oh,
I
like
would.
almond milk and banana
Yeah,
shake.
I would.
Yeah.
With some ice, totally. Yeah.
But then after you have that one time, are you looking for that again in the evening?
No.
No.
Yeah.
The next day is steak
Tomatoes.
and tomatoes.
Okay.
Now that's where I really shine.
Yeah.
You know
and
what I
then
mean?
what?
And then
Then
you
it's
go,
vegetables.
You go back
It's like back
to-
to fruit, vegetables, and I think you can add a potato,
Oh, yeah.
and you can do meat as well. So you're adding everything.
you just
Would you
end
like
on
to
vegetables.
hear the Pam McDonald diet? Rest in peace, my mother.
Oh, rest in peace. My mom's named Pam, too.
Black coffee,
Yes.
hard-boiled eggs,
Oh.
Ooh.
and grapefruit.
Uh-huh.
Then you take your 5-year-old daughter, me, and you go to some house in Sherman Oaks.
Where you do an audition.
Where you pull down your pants and you have your daughter stare at your big white butt, which it wasn't that big, but and this guy shoots you up with some drug.
B12.
Who knows what it was? Obviously, it was not legal at the time. And you lose a
Pam.
lot of weight before the big advertising Christmas party to go at McCann Erickson with your husband from Mad Men.
Oh
And
my
you're back in your dress. No one can believe. My mom said, I remember like they never went on trips ever. And she was going to go on like a trip with him, like a work trip. And they were just going to let my brothers, who were like, let me see, I must have been 5. So they were like 15 and 16 or something, or maybe even younger. They're just going to let, that was it. They just had to watch us. And then two sisters in between. Thank God, like the sisters could like kind of make me some food. That day I wake up with a horrendous fever. I'm never sick. And I remember my dad's like, what are you going to do? You going to go or not? And she's just like, I'm like, just go, Mom. Like, it'll be okay. And she's like, oh. She'd like gotten her hair done and she had done that diet. Like she was like, and I mean, it was just going to be like the one time she's had any fun in like 17 years. So she went. I think,
good for
I
her.
think a neighbor checked on us. Anyway, she went and she was at the lobby and there was like a sorority dance happening. And she said a man came up to her and said, are you part of the sorority formal?
And it made Pam's life. That's amazing.
Now, had I died, the story would not be as good. But when you're like, let me see what she would have been. She probably would have been pushing 40.
She had 4
Five
kids?
five
Oh,
kids. Had been shot up in the ass by a stranger in Sherman Oaks. Coffee, hard-boiled eggs, grapefruit. I'm sure they like got it on.
Do
I'm
you
sure they had a
still
ton
have
of martinis.
His number? The Sherman Oaks guy?
But I
love
totally know where I know the house. It's like right where you get where that Sepulveda 405, where you go like in the residential area to get on
Yeah.
the freeway. It's right there.
I mean,
Well, we could drive
Pam was
by.
cutting
You know what I
edge
mean?
right there.
Just drive by.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
To
was
see
cutting edge. Yeah.
See what HGH lifestyle's going
Or
on in there.
Fen or
Yeah.
whatever it was at the time. We don't know. Do you remember the crazy marriage and divorce of Paul McCartney and Heather Mills?
Is this the one-legged lady?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
She had one leg. I don't know how, Kelly, you did the research. Do you remember how she lost her leg? I want to say it was a disease or
That's what I thought. But when she
it
was
wasn't one of
kid-
those like bombs that like Princess Diana always had to wear those vests.
She hit a
for, was it?
landmine?
Yeah.
She was
No.
saving children, and she stepped in a
Anyway,
landmine.
Paul McCartney was madly in love with his wife, who he had Stella McCarthy, the famous designer, with.
Linda.
And she died, I believe, of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he said, well, this chick hopped into his life on her one leg, Heather Mills, and sucked him in. And yeah, he was married 29 years to his wife. And she publicly said that she hated his daughter, Stella McCarthy,
I
her
remember
stepdaughter.
Stella McCartney like hating her too.
And she said in some interview, every week Stella tried to break up our marriage. She was so jealous. She wasn't interested in her dad's happiness. I can't protect her any longer. She's done some evil things. They get divorced, and she fires a lawyer, and she represents herself, and she's asking for $4.2 million a year.
Oh my God.
But she ended up getting a big settlement of $31 million. And she also poured a jug of water on Paul McCartney's attorney during the time that they were, I guess, negotiating. Anyway, she spent most of her settlement within the first 22 months.
What? She spent $31 million?
Can you look? Didn't they have one kid together? Can you see if they had a child?
If she didn't take...
From a car accident with a policeman.
Oof.
She was on like a motorcycle or something.
$31 million.
She lost her
spent
leg in a
22 months?
car accident.
She
on a
probably had a
motorcycle.
lot of money from that too
I'm sure.
already.
And you don't at least take your money and get a leg.
They had one child.
right.
I wonder how old that child is now.
So she still gets money for that.
Yeah, she got that anchor baby.
And
Gotta have that baby. Gotta have that one baby. If you're gonna marry some older guy that's madly in love, who's with his first wife, then I think he married somebody else. Can you see if he married someone else?
That was right with
Who I
Stella
think-
McCartney.
I'm sure. Do you imagine if you're the next one, how much ass kissing you would have done to Stella
Yeah.
McCarthy? Just like Stella, like just being so into her.
Yeah.
I
Like,
love your clothes.
Yeah.
I have every piece.
That was right when her fashion line was getting big. So that really helped Stella McCartney like get put on the map.
totally.
That whole thing.
She should thank Heather Mills.
Yeah. But by
As
the
a
time
Heather, she was not a good Heather. She was
No.
one of our worst Heathers.
Yeah.
she does remind me kind of his ex though, because they had
No, they
wings.
did. They both
Yeah.
were blonde, kind of like pretty but sort of elongated faces.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what was sort of interesting. Is like he kind of went for the same
Yeah.
type.
But it's like, Paul, just
Take a
it's
break.
enough.
Yeah,
it's
take a
enough.
break.
You had 30 years. You guys had wings.
He never stopped. That was the thing. It was
I
like
know
he
a-
never just...
I know a few cases where men have lost their wives, like the love of their wife, and they jump into a horrible second marriage. Like they cannot be alone. Like if they really love their wife and they're widowed, they're in a very vulnerable place. If that's like your dad, you better like be sitting with him. You better take his phone. You better be swatting away these women. Because I know like of 3 different occasions, this being one, where they get a horrible and then they get rid of that one and then they find like the second love of their life.
like Casey Kasem's wife who kept the
Ugh.
body.
Ugh.
That's Julie loves that story.
Ugh.
the worst.
Jean
She kept the
Kasem.
body. She wouldn't even. They not only could they not see
They're
their dad
horrible.
when
Yeah,
when
it's
he
just-
when he was alive, then she's hoarding the body somewhere in the house
oh
on
my God.
ice.
Now she
That-
really
that-
took control of
that-
him.
We did a deep dive on that, and I actually had the daughter here, and his daughter, and the whole story. And I believe they finally did settle. I don't
good.
know that I know that she buried the body in Scotland or something, where he
Yeah.
had no ties to Scotland at all. He was Lebanese. And he was American. So he was like a really like red, white, and blue American. So they're like, first of all, he wouldn't want to be buried anywhere but America. And it's one thing if you're going to go to Lebanon, but you was Scotland. Like she just picked a weird,
Bizarre.
but
Yeah.
because she chose Scotland, and I
Bizarre.
think it was Scotland or some country, because then you can't move the body, or she had
Yeah.
some legal thing.
Oh.
The same reason why she put him in a rehab home on like Indian land.
Right.
Like
Oh.
she was really like trying to keep the kids from him, and it
That's
was
why you got to
so,
take your
so
dad's cell phone.
sad.
You're right.
Take your dad's cell phone, like, but he got with her when the girls were like teenagers. Then the kids were like young, maybe even younger, so they didn't have the control. But like, if your dad and mom have a great marriage, and your mom unfortunately passes before your dad, the guys are not going to know what to do. And there is going to be some chick that's going to be at least 20 years younger, maybe 5 years older than you, and they are going to swoop on in there, and just beware.
And Casey Kasem, how rich was he? Wasn't he
Super rich.
so?
Super, super,
like,
super, super, super
insanely
rich.
one of the,
Hundreds
like-
of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Anna Nicole Smith. Her guys'
Yeah,
kids
there
were
you
like,
go.
oh God.
Octomom.
This bitch.
The golden years of Octomom.
Look at her stomach.
She always claims she never got her lips done. I believe that she was one of the pioneer lip people.
Well,
No,
she
that
wanted to
looks
look
natural.
She
That
wanted.
looks natural. That's completely natural.
She,
and so is
she
that.
wanted to look
Both
like
of those
Angelina
things.
Jolie. Remember that was like her thing. She,
Yes.
you know,
So the story behind her is she had never been married. She had how many kids did she? She had, how
She
many-
had one kid.
she had 6 kids.
Oh, she had
six kids before she gave birth to the 8. All of the kids were she did on her own. So she was going to a fertility doctor. She had a couple sets of twins within the 6. And then she went to this doctor and said, put a bunch in. And so the doctor was, got a lot of criticism for being negligent in doing that. And all 8 took, no, I think she even put in 6 and like a couple split into
She
twins.
put in 6 and
Oh.
2 got it on in there.
Couple split.
Oh.
I don't think that she put in 8 embryos. I think it's like, but they all took and they all came out okay. Like it was amazing.
yeah, some of them are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
No,
like
they're
some
all-
of them are
they're
very
all-
good looking.
I love that little girl in the corner
Yeah,
over
that
there.
one,
She is
yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
And she got this big house in this neighborhood, and she was constantly doing interviews. And I remember she doing an interview, and everyone's like, "Is she on like what is she on?" She's on Adderall, and I'm like, "Well, she's got like when would she sleep?" But she did have people come in and help with the babies,
Yeah.
and I don't know if they were all volunteers. And then I know she was on welfare, and people didn't like that.
People are
And-
giving her diapers and stuff. I remember.
I mean, I don't know. And we really don't know where she is. But Kelly found out something interesting that recently Wendy Williams talked about her and said that she is what really helped launch Wendy Williams' show.
What?
Because Wendy was like obsessed with the story, and she has her, does she have her pregnancy or her sonogram? She has her sonogram photo framed in her house as like a piece of art, which I kind of love.
wow.
that actually is could be kind of cool art because
Yeah.
there's 8
Yeah.
embryos in there, like babies.
Yeah. And
So what? She was one
and
of
then
her first
she
guests.
had to do some porn. She did some masturbation porn on her own.
as you do.
And yeah, I mean now the kids.
Was she on Wendy's like first trial of her talk show?
I
Is that
guess
the deal?
it was like one of those things where like. I remember Nancy Grace had a show and she was all obsessed with Top Mom. She called her Top Mom, which was Casey
Yeah.
Anthony. And it's like if Casey Anthony,
yeah.
and she was so into it that people just kept going. One of those big stories that went on for months. And she had these babies in 2009.
Oh, wow.
So they would be, so they're like 10, 11
Wow.
now. And then the 6 others are all teenagers, I guess.
17,
Yeah, who
19,
cares?
22.
14 kids she has
'Cause
as a single mother.
In this picture you have here, this is
These are the 8.
These are all the 8. Oh, okay.
And this was the year of like hard copy and stuff.
Yep.
And I know from studying Joey and Mary Jo Buttafuoco that those were times where there were a lot of shows where you could get paid for an interview.
Yeah.
So you'd get paid, a couple grand or $5,000 or $10,000, and she just kept doing those. Then she did the porn, and wonder where she's now.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't. Well, they didn't give her a show because she was probably too crazy. Not like
Yes.
John and Kate plus 8 or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I'm surprised she didn't do like, marriage rehab or whatever those shows are called where you go.
Well,
on
she
the-
never had a partner. She
Right.
said, I never wanted a partner. Like, she'd always say she's going to therapy, and her parents were, I want to say her parents were, I think, immigrants, like from the Middle East. So they were like, what is she doing? And then,
says she's got a little cult.
yeah, it
own
was
cult.
just,
Strange.
but
It's
I
very
played
weird.
her, we did a sketch, and I was her on Chelsea Lately, and I could do her voice, which I don't remember anymore, but we took 8 babies and we attached them to my body. I'll try to find the photo.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing.
Her voice was high and strange.
Yeah, she was like, oh, no, I love babies. We're getting along. Yeah, so I'm tired. A lot of people say I have my fake lips or I'm taking something I'm not. And it's like, well,
Who goes and gets inseminated that much? It's so bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah.
this story, I'm going to skip the story because I don't really know it. Okay, let's talk about Charles and Camilla.
Now talk about a freak in the sheets.
Totally. And you know what? Being that they're still together, he was like 36 or 37 when he married Princess Diana, who was a 19-year-old kindergarten teacher. She didn't go to a formal college. She was 19. I mean, that is not a match. And he loved her. But
Yep.
the family wouldn't let him marry Camilla because I don't know if she was divorced or a little older than
maybe
him.
it was
What
that. I
it
think it was that
wasn't
she
a
was
pure virgin
Right.
19-year-old. She she also came from she had some like royalty pedigree, Lady Diana, right?
Yeah, her last name Spencer. My mom's maiden name is Spencer. I love pretending somehow, some way.
Well, you are.
But she
clearly.
wasn't. Camilla is like, she is like, it has royal blood. But I think you're right. I think she was divorced or something. But
There was
the queen didn't
something.
like her.
Right.
But the
Yeah.
word on the street was always that, and no one liked to hear this. And my mom definitely loved Lady Di, and I get all of that. But the word
Yes.
on the street was always that she's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
People love her. She's so popular. She's so funny and
Camilla.
fun. Yeah. And that it just wasn't like that with Diana. I'm sure she went there and was like, oh, all these people, snore pie with yon sauce. I mean, she was always with like little kids, and she was probably like lovely, but
I think
But
it was
this
just.
match
I
I
just
like.
think it was just such a weird combination. And then from the start, he never. She revealed that they never stopped seeing each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, he was in love with Camilla. They never stopped seeing each other. They never stopped boning. And
That's
she
so
said,
sweet.
she
I
goes-
love it.
She
that
goes,
is
it was
so sweet.
yeah, but I mean, for Diana, it was hard. She goes, well, it was hard having 3 people in the marriage. Remember, she said that in an
Yeah, I mean,
interview.
for her, yeah.
And I'm sure she was also like, yeah, I'm not really interested though, quite frankly. He wasn't
In
like,
him.
he's better looking now, I think.
Yeah.
When he was younger, I was thinking, wow, he's not.
I think if he had shown her love and attention, she
would've
would have
gone.
been very loyal and wanted that life and done that life because she had such love for her sons. But I think it got to the point where it's like, oh my God, I mean, I can't take being rejected anymore. Like her heart was just broken,
Do you think this Harry is his son?
No.
Okay, good. We're all on the same page.
However, people have shown me photos of her brother or her uncle or something on the Spencer side that is a carrot top and has a similar look to him. But the Navy or Admiral or whatever guy that
Yeah.
she briefly saw during that time or she'd been seen with
Yeah.
also looks very much like Harry.
Yeah, and you want to think Diana was just getting hers.
I mean, but I'm not. I do think, but I'm not 100% sure because it was such in the early years that she may have still been trying, and she may have not allowed herself to stray at that point.
Yeah.
So it could have just been that and he and his brother, they don't look that much alike.
They really
but my
don't.
kids don't look that much alike,
They
and they
don't?
are from the same dick. Yes,
But they don't look alike?
I think they look like we look like a family, but it's not like hey, you know how like some people, you see like
Yeah.
in big families, I'd be like, you're a McDonald.
Yeah.
Like there's that type of thing, and then there's
Yeah.
some where you're like, oh, you look more like your mom and you look more like your dad, but as siblings, you guys don't look that much
Yeah.
alike.
But
yeah,
but Harry doesn't look like Princess Di,
yeah.
at all. And he's cute, I mean, you can tell obviously that William is like right there.
And William looks
Yeah.
a lot like Princess Diana and
Yeah.
a little bit of his dad, but they have like a very
Yeah.
you're right. Okay, so wait, I'm going to read you the most amazing transcript ever, okay? This came out. This was a transcript of their bedtime conversation. I don't know how they recorded this, but it came out when they were both still married because then she had to marry someone because then he was like, I can't marry you. So she went on to marry someone and they both met and cheated. It was released in 1993, a month after Diana's passing. So somebody held on to this and then put it out. Prince Charles says, oh God, I just want to live inside of your trousers or something. It would be so much easier. And then she says, what are you going to do then? Turn into a pair of knickers? Oh, you're going to come back as a pair of knickers? Prince Charles, or God forbid a Tampax. Just my luck. Camilla, you are a complete idiot. Oh, what a wonderful idea. Prince Charles, my luck would be chucked down a lavatory and go on and on forever, swirling around on the top and never go down.
Oh,
As
romantic.
Camilla's old tampon. He'd be reincarnated
And
as
his-
Camilla's old tampon.
But his luck would be to be tossed into the toilet.
And
I like his self-deprecating
yeah,
side.
he really doesn't he
his
have bad
sad
luck
side.
as a king to be. Such bad luck.
I mean, honestly, it could have been a Hugh Grant scene. It was
Oh
so-
my
so
God, it could have
charming.
been. It could have been.
It's almost like they knew they were being recorded with the level of like charm
Yeah.
that
They
it
didn't want
had.
to be with other people. They wanted to be with each other. I think that's sad.
Yeah.
But then they got to be
They're-
together,
they're-
which is
But now they're
awesome.
together now.
Yeah, they're officially
Yeah.
together now, right?
Oh, yeah, for years they got married.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's so nice. Well,
Good
you know,
for you.
and he will never be king because apparently, and Julie and I just got into this. Like,
What?
She'll never
Tell me.
die. She'll never die.
Well, it's just like Queen Elizabeth. How long? Can you believe how many people literally have died this year to the point where you're just like, wow. I mean, where everyone's gonna die this year, but Queen Elizabeth is still alive.
How old
Yeah.
is? Can you look how
She's like
old she is?
94, I believe.
Because
I mean, their dad, it looks like the death warmed over. Yeah.
They live a long time, though. I mean,
it's crazy.
And then it's like by the time he gets it, he's like, what's the
like, who
fun of
cares?
this?
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
No.
It's like not cool anymore to be white
Nope.
royalty. It's like the worst thing
Nope.
on earth to be. You're almost embarrassed. My own son, Harry, is like, we're going to Montecitos.
Yeah.
We're out.
yeah.
Yeah. 94.
94.
And even him, he's like, just give
But
it to
she
William.
has to die. She can't just like pass it over, or can she?
She has to die.
In Japan, he
right,
stepped
he did,
down.
but which was a huge deal. They don't do that. They die.
Oh.
She could
But
pass it on. I
she
mean, he's
could.
probably like, you could have given it to me at least 10
Right.
years ago when I was feeling just
Yeah.
had more energy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
there we go.
Mm.
Robert Downey Jr. I mean, talk about somebody that was like forgiven a bunch of times. I don't think a woman would with these drug problems. Do you think if a woman was found?
Oh, you mean if a woman had done all
yes.
of this? Okay.
Do you think if a female actress, imagine Julia Roberts, okay? In 1996, they find her on heroin, cocaine, crack cocaine, as well as an unloaded .357 Magnum in her car when she was stopped for speeding. Then, on another occasion, Julia Roberts famously was found by her neighbors, passed out in that neighbor's 11-year-old son's bunk bed. Do you think that she would have gone on to be a superhero in a movie?
If she had effed Weinstein,
Oh, we
Yes.
forgot about that
Well,
part.
we
If
know
she-
Natasha
sorry.
whatever got found in that dumpster,
Natasha.
and she came
Leggero?
back.
You
Wait,
got
no,
it.
no, no,
Leon.
no, no, not her. Wait, what's her? Oh, Leon.
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 She's on like a Netflix show. I thought that was
Yes.
a pretty spectacular.
took her a
comeback.
while.
I'm like, you were found in a
That took her a
dumpster.
while.
But yes.
But no, you're right.
But 100%,
But I
not
also
to the extent where he is literally in a multi-billion-dollar franchise as Iron Man and the Avengers.
He
I
climbed
don't
out of a
think a
window
woman would be able to get
From
that.
rehab.
I mean,
climbed out of a
I
window
think he
rehab in
deserves
Malibu.
to be what he's doing. I'm just saying because he has, become sober and everything, and he is super talented. I'm just saying, like, I think if a woman had lived this life and fallen that far, I mean, Margot Kidder,
I
she
bring it up
lost
once
her
a
mind.
week. Once a week, I bring it up. Once a week.
Can then just fill people on
Sad.
the Margot Kidder story.
So she was in Superman.
Yes.
She's Lois Lane.
And then, and I don't know how long that fame lasted, but I know at a certain point later,
Probably
she was
in the 80s, late 80s,
running
90s.
around in a t-shirt under an underpass. And I just like every time Julie brings up Christopher Reeve, and by the way, it's often because she loves Superman.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, well,
I
I'm
love Somewhere in Time,
Oh, right.
starring Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour.
Yes, I saw that movie when I was
Thank
a little
you.
girl.
Thank you.
I would totally go to the movies, 8 years old on with a friend, a matinee by ourselves, constantly to the movie theaters alone.
Oh yeah.
Which is great.
And then would you
in the
sneak
day.
into other movies or
Oh,
no? You
totally,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean that was the best. And if anyone said anything, I'd be like, I'm sorry, do you own stock in this theater? We're gonna go ahead and into Dirty
gonna do that
Dancing
too.
or whatever. It's like you could do it
I
so
remember
good then.
Saturday Night Fever. It came out as R. That was John Travolta dancing, And then all of a sudden they said, we're going to do a PG version. We're going to cut out the sex part, the part about the girl saying she's on the pill, whatever. We're going to be able to make it to the... And I was like, oh my God, I was so excited. So I'm like, Liz, we're going to see this movie. So you have to call, right, to get the times and everything.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Remember movie phone?
And I remember getting the times and I was like, yeah, it says 7 o'clock or something. But I remember thinking something weird about this. So we get dropped off, and it's Jack the Ripper is the prequel movie. So we watched the whole Jack the Ripper movie. And then Saturday Night Fever, the PG version, doesn't start till like 10. So we're just staying in the movies. And my friend's mom is like, where are these kids? Like, aren't they home? And my dad doesn't. So then when the movie ends, Saturday Night
Oh,
Fever.
you mean you stayed past 10? You guys were like, it's fine. We'll stay for this movie.
Yeah,
too.
like I didn't think to go and like call and be like, actually, can we stay this late? Like we're literally 9, okay? Like,
You didn't even say, can we watch Jack the Ripper? Is that fine?
I mean, I think I was like,
Yeah.
I don't need to spend the quarter to call my mom. So then we get out of the movie and we turn and my dad's like sitting in the back. He's like, oh, that was really great. You know, da da da. I don't think she could come to my house for a year after that.
Because your dad went down there. And
My
then-
dad went down and saw that we were in there. We were going to finish watching the movie. But, you know, was like, yeah, this movie should have been done by now. So let me just like go and find them.
Yeah, and Liz's
And-
mom, Pat, was like, you are not going to be around that Heather.
Her name's Mary.
Oh.
She did forgive us later, though. But I mean, yeah, that was I mean, come on. I was just like, we're gonna see this movie, like just always. Okay.
I want to say he came into Swingers. I used to work at Swingers. Do you know that restaurant?
The diner on
Yeah.
3rd or Melrose.
Yeah, it's like Crescent Heights in Beverly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not there anymore. It closed down during COVID or maybe before. But he came in during that time. It's all celebrities would come in there or whatever.
During his drug time.
Yeah, and the thing with him was, but you would hear this crazy stuff. Like at one point he went to like, was it Palm Springs or was it like
Vegas?
on the way to Vegas? It was somewhere in the desert, you know, whether Palm Springs or on the way to Vegas with that guy with, I think, Yasmin Bleeth and that guy who was on that show with Brooke Shields, I think. What was that called? Like,
Will you look up Brooke Shields?
you know,
sitcom?
with Kathy Griffin?
Yes.
Oh, Andy Dick?
No. It was like just a regular actor guy on that show. What did that show
We're
called?
gonna
Like
look-
maybe
was it
Marley or whatever.
No. It was called Suddenly Susan.
Suddenly
my
Susan.
God.
So the guy's
Oh,
like a
that's
young
right.
actor, and they go and they're in these hotel rooms,
And
like,
Yasmin Bleeth, you guys, was on Baywatch, and she went down a really bad path, and she has not returned. Go on.
And then she even did that, I think, that celebrity diving show that like
Oh,
Kim
she
Richards
did.
like hosted.
Yes. Oh my God. She didn't host it.
Oh, she
Kim
was on
Richards
it?
was on it
Okay.
with Kyle. I think they both did it.
Yeah, and then I think
Chewy was on it.
yeah.
Chewy was on that celebrity diving thing. Wait a minute.
This dying. I
So
forgot he
he's
was on
doing it. We're dying. Okay. And I mean, I don't even know that he could swim. So they're like doing the diving. He ended up like standing on a small table and falling off the table in his dressing room and then was disqualified. He didn't even get disqualified actually trying to do a dive.
Was he practicing in the room or no?
I don't know what happened, but we were just like, oh my God. And then there was this moment where thirsty Heather McDonald, when I heard that he hurt himself and he got the boot, I might have called my agents and said, see how into it they are about like me replacing, you know, because they would do that with Dancing with the Stars. Like all of a sudden, like, what's her name? Christy Brinkley's daughter just like replaced her or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe they'll want someone else from Chelsea Lately. I'm like actually a pretty good swimmer. I'm totally down to do this. I'm not afraid of heights. Anyway.
Kim was
They did
scared.
not.
Kim
They
would-
wanted Chewy because he was a
Oh,
little
man.
person
Yeah.
trying to do a backflip.
Well, you
you
should
know?
have anyway because Kim, I feel like dove off like the low dive and then quit. It's like what I have in my mind to kind of remember.
Louis
Yes.
Anderson was on it too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
God, that's a good
And
memory.
he was a whole like, he cried and he's like, I'm back.
Okay, so they went. Sorry, they went. So the
They
driving.
went to this, they were
Yes.
so this was during this time where
Yes.
found in the car. He escaped from rehab. He literally
Okay.
climbed out of a window like with sheets from like promises and like was running down the street in Malibu.
Yeah, because he's been into rehab like 5 times.
and
Like, yeah.
Charlie Sheen probably picked him up.
Yeah.
So they go down to this hotel and that guy from Suddenly Susan like hung himself. And it's like it was crazy. And the guy was not like it wasn't like Andy Dick.
You're looking this up.
it was
Kelly?
a-
Can you look up the Suddenly Susan suicide?
it was a handsome
yeah, I remember this.
actor.
No, I remember this story now.
And it was so disturbing. And I was like, whoa. And
So wait, and they were out all night, like getting high, and then he killed himself.
And
What
I-
was it? His name?
Yeah, David Strickland.
David
Yeah.
Strickland of Suddenly Susan, and he was like, yeah, like a
He's
like a
handsome guy.
regular lead, but not not a top person.
right, but
He
he
was engaged to Tiffany Thiessen.
He was engaged to
Oh.
Tiffany Thiessen, and the show continued. By the way,
As it always will.
oh yeah, they're like, let's just keep on going.
well.
Well, the thing was, he would come into Swingers, and I swear I'm not just saying this because this is how this picture is. he would have on rose-colored glasses, which was just striking to me back then. And that's
Yes.
weird. And it was kind of like weird, like his signature. But, and of course, and I was so young then that, and I mean much more naive than I am now about things such as, I probably stayed in that hotel room and that guy killed himself. But I would think he's going to come in like some strung out, probably like Charlie Sheen, if you think how you'd see Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
And he was nothing like that. He was completely normal. I know that the week that he came to Swingers, he was found in an alley. He had been in an actual literal alley and got
like a day before.
Yeah, like within a
But
few
then
days.
was a clean delight asking
Completely
for, some pancakes.
Completely sober. And just not even sober, but wow.
Well, I think the reason also why versus like if this all of a sudden Julia Roberts back in the day, we'd found out, she was doing drugs and she's got like hit movies after hit movies. I think the reason why this was accepted is because he had a famous role in Less Than Zero where he was the rich kid who started doing cocaine. And I remember this movie and it was like so shocking because Andrew McCarthy finds him blowing a guy in Palm Springs. Like the minute you start, the drugs are so bad that you're going to suck a dick for them. Like it was...
That movie was
like,
so
oh my
dark.
God, he has to be a prostitute with men? Oh my God. Now it'd be like, no big deal. Like, that wouldn't even make, they'd be like, no, scene. He should probably be kidnapping children. Like, it has to, we have to step
raise
this
the
up.
stakes.
Yeah, we have to do something so bad that the drugs are making him do it. It can't just be sucking a dick for a line. It can't be that in a nice Palm Springs hotel. So then they take him and they're like, oh, we got to make him better, And then they have that scene. It's him and, what was the girl's name? Anyway, Andrew McCarthy and him in the middle, and then the girl, and they're driving home from Palm Springs on New Year's Day because they all went there from Beverly Hills to rip it. And he falls over and he dies. See,
that movie was too intense when I was a kid. I'm just like, well, I'm looking
I
for pretty
loved that movie. That was
You
the
did?
movie that made me want to go to USC. That movie and that book, because all the kids were rich and they all went to SC and they all did a lot of cocaine, and it just sounded so
fun.
like, oh my God. And then they talk about the valley and like how gross the valley was. And I was from the valley and I was like, oh, who cares? Like, I can't believe my
You're like, I'm
town's
gonna go to
being
SC and
mentioned
talk
in
shit
a
about the valley.
book. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
but
I
I
mean-
think that was like, so then when we see him having drug problems, we're like, yeah, of course he would. Like,
And
he
is a celebrity. He was a rich kid. His father
Yes.
was a huge actor, and he grew up like that. And he could obviously look at. You're not going to be David Strickland on Suddenly Susan. I mean, even Yasmin Bleeth survived it, but you're not going to hang with this guy's got that stuff in his blood. I mean, he bounced back, zero crack vibes, zero, like he doesn't have any residual. I've been around him several times since because I know somebody who was with him, like he was his sponsor, which I don't think that's a secret because normally that's supposed to be anonymous, but I don't think he keeps it anonymous. But so I've been around him and he just doesn't have like, how some people, it's like, oh, cool, you used to do crack. Couldn't tell that, when you can tell.
You know what I'm going to say now, and I know people are going to get ready to write me, okay? I am not a drug and rehab specialist. I'm going to start by saying that right now, okay? But when you said it's like in his blood, like he comes from a family of like drug addicts and alcoholics that have been able to bounce back. Have you guys not heard, and I have always heard this, that Native Americans sometimes, not all the time, have a problem with alcohol because their blood type, their genetics had only been introduced to alcohol once the Europeans came. Like for thousands of years, they did not have alcohol, and therefore, then when they started to drink, they'd have a lot of problems with alcohol. Either get really drunk fast, or it would really affect their health. And then people that are like European, like me, who is like 100% Irish English, where people have been drinking forever. I am able to drink. I still could become an alcoholic, but like it doesn't physically affect me like someone whose genetics had never been introduced to alcohol until 200 years ago.
Like,
have you ever heard of that? Or am I coming out of my butthole.
I know like certain like a ton of my Asian friends will be like, I don't drink, I turn bright red. It's like a
Yes.
thing that there's certain people. I mean,
Well, like if generations and generations you've eaten a certain type of food and it's been agreeable to your body, like I do think there's a genetic thing that like the 23andMe, like
Yeah.
your genetics is susceptible to this not agreeing with you as much as someone else, you know?
yeah.
I think that's just like a truth.
That
Without
is.
being
think
without
so.
being a drug and rehab specialist.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I do. I mean, I don't even know if he has even. It's not even addiction. It's in his family. I just think he comes from like that Hollywood lifestyle, man. So he's going to be able
Yeah.
to rock it, go in the alley, climb down the sheet, run on. Even Charlie Sheen. Like,
Yeah.
think of Charlie Sheen now. He obviously still has the vibes lingering around,
Right.
but the level that he has
Well, it's
survived.
also feeling like the privilege, the entitlement, the consequences aren't going to be there. I can do what I want.
I know
Nobody's
I can
really
go to
doing
rehab
anything to
and
me.
get clean.
I'm going to be
Yeah.
fine. I've
Yeah.
got money. I can do whatever, and I'm going to get work. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just like someone that might, eat a lot of shit for a week knowing they can afford a $100 3-day juice cleanse.
Yep.
When someone else goes, I can't afford a $100 juice cleanse, so I better
Yeah, so I'll get fatter. I'm just going to get fatter.
yeah. I better watch what I eat. Like I better not like rip it all week and do and then do a colonic after.
Yep.
You know?
Or people who go to that $5,000 fat camp that I want to go to, where really they just go. It's called fat camp, but it's really not. It's really just so people go so they can quit smoking, and I don't even smoke. But I just want to be held in a room where I have to eat like macrobiotic food and hike.
Yes.
It's like literally, it's like just some luxury place where you go, and it's all people that want to quit, rich people that want to quit smoking, and they have to be like.
and also, I'm sure they don't have alcohol there, so like
Yeah, all
at
of
least you'll
that.
be like sober too for a couple
and
weeks.
they take your phone.
Ugh.
And then they just make you hike, and you're talking, and then you're on the diet because they give you. It's just a
Where
way-
is this?
It's literally. I think it's in Malibu. I'll
course
find
it
out
is.
because
Does insurance pay?
I mean, it's $5,000. That's not that much, but it is only
For how much?
It's 7 days.
7 days for $5,000? No way.
Because then you could go on an actual vacation where you want. Where
Why
you will
couldn't you
drink.
go with a couple girlfriends and be like, let's go to a beautiful resort and let's seriously like, I mean, with everything online and everything, couldn't you like do a meditation? Like, couldn't you plan your own
Yes.
like 1 week rehab with some friends? And
Yes.
then you're not with some weirdo.
We do that.
Yeah, we try and we've done that.
Yeah, you've done it on that GM diet. This is a crazy story. Okay, it's not that crazy. Well, anyway, Jack Nicholson thought his. No, this is written different. Jack Nicholson's had a sister, who actually turned out to be his mother.
What?
So, meaning his sister got pregnant young, and at that time it was quite a scandal. So they pretended that the mom had like a late in life pregnancy.
So his sister
So the
was
grandmother-
like 15 years older or
No,
something?
yes. And so the grandmother raised him as a son and raised them as brother and sister. I remember seeing a movie about this, like from the 60s when I was younger, and how they're like, no, this is what we're going to do. You're going to just pretend to be the sister. You're going to go away. And then all of us, and I'm going to, and like the mom stuffed her belly and acted like she was pregnant. So all like the people, and then, oh my God, I can't believe you got pregnant at 40 or whatever. And so he always believed that his mom was, but the mom was actually the grandmother. So Ethel May, the grandmother, raised Jack as her own, pretending that June was his much older sister, who was actually his mother. June was only 18 at the time of Jack's birth,
18.
and had aspirations of stardom. So to avoid the shame of a child out of wedlock, the shame that it would bring the family, Ethel May raised Jack, and then June moved out when Jack was 4, fleeing to Miami to become an Earl Carroll showgirl.
Jesus.
Their relationship became even more bizarre when Nicholson decided to pursue a career in Hollywood. He headed west to LA at 17 to join his sister, June, who had relocated there to try to make it in showbiz. And Time magazine was doing a profile on him in 1973 and discovered this information, and he asked them not to publish it.
How did they discover it?
Oh, by the time he found it all out to be
Oh.
true, they were both already
His moms
deceased.
were
Oh
dead.
my
His
His
moms
mom
were dead.
and his grandma were dead. His two moms. His mom's
Yeah.
mom's sister mom. But what was funny is because that was that movie, what was that China movie that was in LA that he was in?
China said
You're
no?
my mother. You're my sister. You're my mother. You're my
Oh,
sister.
Chinatown?
Oh,
Wasn't
Chinatown.
that about that?
I don't know.
I don't know that.
I never
movie.
saw Chinatown.
Okay.
This gives me weird incest vibes, even though
Yeah.
it isn't.
it's not incestual at
but
all.
you know, but it gives me
no.
weird
I think
vibes.
it's a thing that happened oftentimes.
But she was 18 and wanted to go be
Remember
a
when
Playboy
people thought the Sarah Palin baby was really the daughter's baby?
Oh, right.
They thought
Bristol.
Sarah Palin's young fifth child who had Down syndrome. There was rumors that no, she's pretending that baby is hers, but actually it's her. It's Bristol's.
And then Bristol did go on to have a baby quite soon
yes,
right after that.
she had another baby too, or two more.
And
Yeah.
then remember how Ashley Judd,
Yeah.
the whole thing with her bitterness, where Winona Judd and Naomi, like, always pretended
that they were like sisters.
that something it was like that they all had the same dad, or it was something weird where like her whole life, and then it turned out like, no, you have a different dad, and
you
she
mean
was
that
so pissed.
Ashley and Winona? Wait,
yeah,
who's the mom?
Naomi.
Naomi was the mom. Oh, and then she pretended they had the same dad, but they didn't.
They didn't, but then but everyone knew. So then you're just like, wait, does Grandpa know? Yeah. Does Grandma know? Yeah. Is there anyone that didn't know? We pretty much have all known the whole time. And she was like, go fuck yourself.
Who said go fuck yourself?
And Ashley Judd was horrified.
But why would she be horrified? Because whatever dad she had is her dad.
But she never met him.
But he probably pretended to be the dad of Winona when Winona was like 2 or 1 or
you
something.
mean Winona's dad pretended to be of Ashley?
No.
Oh.
Think about it. So if you're Naomi and you have your first daughter, Winona, okay? She's probably like 1. And then you meet this guy and then you get pregnant with Ashley. And then both little Winona and Ashley are calling that dad. That dad is not the biological dad to Winona. He's most likely the biological dad to Ashley because she's second.
No, her dad wasn't there though. I don't think either dad was there.
Anyway, people,
Yeah.
this was an unplanned Juicy Scoop history, and we have not done our research.
Yeah.
So if you know about the fathers of the Judd triplets,
Triplets. Because Naomi, meanwhile, yes, she looks like their sister.
oh
There
God.
I know Ashley was
She was a
pissed.
pioneer of facelifts.
And that, by the way, Ashley, that's probably why Harvey Weinstein ultimately went down, because of how bitter and pissed off she was that they hid that about her dad for all those years.
Because then she lost a bunch of parts, Ashley Judd, because she wouldn't, or she revealed about him.
She wouldn't do it, and then she kept it secret, and then finally she just blew the doors off, and she just finally had enough. Ashley Judd was totally responsible for that whole thing, which you got to
Wow.
give it to her. She's like, I just did Hunger Games. I did 3 of them. I'm gonna tell on you now.
Here's a great story. Matthew McConaughey has a new book coming out, and he said that he reveals that his dad died of a heart attack during sex with his mom. He'd always told me and my brothers, boys, when I go, I'm going to be making love to your mother. And that is what happened. He had a heart attack when he climaxed.
That's what I was thinking of about Rock of Love when you mentioned Bret Michaels, because Bret Michaels said, and he did tell this to Jillian Barberie, because he had a heart attack, and he said that he was enjoying himself with his laptop alone in his office late at night when he had the heart attack. And Jillian Barberie was like, okay. And like, I always think about that. Like, Bret Michaels is like watching some porn and like straight up had a heart attack and had to like.
Well, further thing is this, he and his mom, I mean, the mom and dad, his biological parents, they got married, they got divorced, they broke up, they got married, they got divorced. So they must have had the most passionate bone. I mean, they were the Cardi B and Offset of their day. Like, we got to break up, and then Cardi B's like, I'm not giving up that D. Like, you know, like, don't be mad, don't be hating, I need some dick. You know, like, so, and then, I mean, as sad as it was that he died while he was inside of her, and she did, you know, get off. I mean, talk about like bragging rights.
It's the way
around
to go.
the world. Like, I fucked your dad so good he died. Like, this pussy can kill men. And he's never going to have another pussy in his life but me. Like, you can't even be that sad about it. You've got to be like, Oh my God. And to be saying that also to your parents. Like, who says that to your kids? Who says that to your your dad gave it good to me last night. Like, I would never talk. I mean, we see it all now on
Gross.
housewife shows where they're constantly talking about how much dick they're getting and how they're boning all the time. I mean, Teresa Giudice used to say it all the time. Look how that turned out. Stop your bragging about how much dick you're getting from your husband.
Please.
It is the kiss of death. Unless he actually dies fucking you, you have no bragging rights. The only person that gets to brag about how much dick she got is Matthew McConaughey's mom. Nobody else.
But that is the way to go. It's like when people say don't let your little dog out because an eagle might come swoop down and take it away. And I'm like, no, that would be really cool, actually.
What are you talking about?
Because you know how they say like birds of prey will get because we have a little dog. And I'm thinking if that happens in my own backyard, it's actually not a bad way to go. Like an eagle swooping and taking you. Like I got to do a slow clap for
the
that.
visual of it. You mean?
Well, and the story of it.
And
Like, how did your dog die? An eagle came down and swooped him away.
It's better
An
than
eagle.
It's pretty. If you
Hit by
have
a
to deal
car.
with somebody dying inside of you, I mean, or at least if your own, it's like.
I mean, it'd be so much worse if it happened and he was like with a hooker or a mistress.
Oh my God.
Or a
alone
guy.
in the office with the laptop open,
Yes. Yeah.
like Bret Michaels.
So
So
scary though to have a heart attack. Just like
so he and then it went all over the screen and then he fell over and grabbed his heart. And
I
so
guess
his
so.
pants were like around. That would be so embarrassing to
my
like
God,
have your
horrifying.
pants around your.
And does it
I
I
hurt?
sometimes think, like, I don't want to get in a car accident and then have my pants fall off or like poo my pants or do
Yes.
anything and then they pull me out with the
Isn't
jaws
that
of
why
life.
they say
or-
wear clean underwear?
that's
But
what my
even
mom-
then,
Yeah,
But
right?
what about
because
this?
if they had to like cut your underwear open, you had like a little skid mark.
Which
Yeah.
is inevitable. But let's say, I mean, come on.
I mean, I think if
Especially-
you almost died and you
yeah,
shit
you're
your pants.
yeah. Or
She has
or-
IBS.
I'd be everywhere. But what if they jaws of life and then pull you out, and as they're pulling you, your pants come off, and how horrifying! Just like you know what I mean, your clothes slide off, and they're pulling you, and then your stomachs come out.
I think
would
they'd be like
die. I'd die.
stomachs.
I guess I would die. I would
Plural
die then. I would die
stomachs.
then. I would die.
And
I would
let's
die.
not. And
Or
what about a
boob.
huge bush
Oh,
too? By
then
the
it's
way,
just like a. What if a cloud? What if you're being pulled out by the jaws of life? The pants come out, and then it's just because your huge bush just puffs up. Then what do you do?
I don't
Nothing.
know.
You die. You die.
that wouldn't happen to me. I'm a bald eagle.
Good for you. Good for you.
I mean, it wasn't really planned, but then it just happens.
You got alopecia down there?
I got laser after I had been waxing, and I drew a marker line around it. And then she said, "What do you need this for?" And I was like,
What do you mean a marker line?
"So I had always been waxing."
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, I'm going to start doing laser.
Yeah.
And so I drew a marker of where to keep. You have to let it grow out a little to do
keep
laser.
the hair. Yeah.
So it's like, this is the
Landing
shape
strip.
I want. Yeah. And then she says, "What do you need this for?"
Yeah.
And then I was like,
Good point.
and then, I mean, literally it was bald one day. And I was like, okay. And it really did stop seeming as sexual. It almost like when we saw J-Lo in the low cut, it becomes just like your arm when there's no hair there.
This is what, you know what? I have a I'm not bald down there. And I have a few reoccurring dreams. And one is that I'm walking around naked and it's not shaved or trimmed. And I feel so much more exposed if it's not shaved and trimmed that I'm like horrified. And when it is like really like barely any, like ready for like a fun weekend bikini, like down, then I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like, like less naked.
Yeah,
It's
it's
weird.
true.
It's like, because there's something really embarrassing about a hairy bush.
Yeah, you don't want your pubes out.
Yeah.
It's private. And then it makes it seem like it's your private. But when it's bald, and I'm telling you, that is like the best. It's just so freeing. And laser, I mean, you only have to do it a few times. The first time you do it, and Julie knows, the first time you do it.
I do it too.
It literally, the very first
I
time.
do.
And you know what? They make you turn over and pull your butt. And they do your
Wide open.
They do your beehole.
Wide open.
Wow.
They just
You have to hold it
laser it
yourself.
right there.
They go, "Can you hold it?" It's
They
like,
just
I'm
laser
fine. I don't need that.
your butthole.
Do you think, because I've heard that the hairy bush look is coming back, and do you think that, I mean, there might be girls that are like 30 now that have a bald cooch, and when they're 40, it's gonna. They won't be able to lie and say they're 40. And when they're 40, they won't be able to say they're 30 because everybody 30 will have a hairy bush.
Right.
Like remember,
It's like the tramp stamp.
The
If
tramp
something
stamp,
gives
or
you
there
away.
was. I remember when I was working with the Wayans brothers. I guess there's people like over 60 that have that shot. And he goes, whenever he'd see that shot in a club, then they all knew that someone was of a certain age because it was like a print
It's
on your
TB.
body.
I think it's a TB. My mom has it.
And so you can't really lie about your age because, so I wonder if that will ever be the case.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, I think Brett Ratner is disgusting, but he went on Howard Stern and he will not get with any girl that doesn't have a full bush. And he will ask you, and he's not even doing a landing strip. And so then he needs to know, is it lasered or can you grow it?
Can we talk in 2 weeks?
And then I'm thinking, and I'm literally listening to that thinking, when I wouldn't touch him with someone else's D, I'm thinking, wow, are girls wearing like full merkins to like get with the guy? Like, because he will not. And that was also in the same conversation where he said him and all his friends went and got, what's it called when you get snipped, like so you can't have kids?
Vasectomy.
Yeah, and then they pretend that they didn't or whatever.
Right,
so,
to be like, I want to have your baby.
Yeah, that whole
Give me
thing.
your baby.
I want to put my baby in your huge bush.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my
And
god.
that's why huge bushes exist.
Wouldn't we
that's
have,
where the
a
babies are held.
cute baby? Wouldn't we? We're gonna have a baby.
And like girls are in there like getting, stealing the condoms, and it's like
Putting the
that's
safety
Blake's.
pin, the bottom, a needle in the thing, hope, and it's like not even necessary.
So yeah, I think it could be a telltale sign, just like the old tattoos. They're all there.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Okay. Good. I'm glad you are. Julie and Brandy, thank you for joining me again.
What an end note.
You are delights.
I'm
Bald,
happy to know
bushy,
Heather's
bald,
got it
bushy,
trimmed.
or in between.
Very neat. Bush, bald. That's what this is why it's
women supporting women for whatever choice it's your body, your choice.
I don't know. My friend Jess has it going this way, kind of like a Hitler mustache, and I don't know that I feel that.
I think that's
why
weird.
do you do that?
I've seen that.
This way?
It's cut
Just like the top.
yes.
Like the top of the...
Like, put your baby onto my bush. Put your baby onto my bosom.
yes,
Like that?
She has that, and it's trimmed so short too. Like,
Wow.
and I'm just like, yeah, what you need that for? I'm like the laser lady now. I'm like, what you need that for? You don't need this. You don't need this. Shake
No.
this off.
It's not an eyebrow.
Girls, tell everybody again where they can find you. Give your little spiel again.
Check out our podcast, Dumb Gay Politics. It's for people who watch Bravo and don't follow news. It is not unbiased, so don't show up unless you're looking for two miserable tools ranting and raving, okay?
But we do try and keep it, basic.
Yeah, it's very basic and it's fun and it's funny. But,
Yeah.
I feel like someone from here went on and said to us, it must be hard being that miserable.
Oh.
And then I was like, no, it's easy. It comes pretty naturally. And then we have a Patreon podcast if you want just, no politics at all. It's just random.
Fun.
It's not even
Yeah.
any.
Nothing.
It's
Songs,
just whatever.
stories,
Yeah.
poems,
Love it.
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Thank you, Heather. We love you. We're huge fans.
Thank you. I am too. Bye.